There's so many people that their dream is to come out and like be in the big spotlight, and 2 years out, you're on Modern Family.
Super Bowl commercial with Kanye, Super Bowl commercial with
The Super Bowl commercial with Kanye?
Yeah, the McDonald's one.
The reason I started following you do the best Vivek Ramaswamy impersonation that I've seen.
People kind of know what he looks like. They kind of know the name, but they haven't really seen him enough to know that it's not me. I know I lost the election, man.
Hey, Vivek.
Oh, hey, man. How are you? Vivek Ramaswamy. Good to meet you.
Oh, it's good to see you.
So what brings you to this part of town? So that was like the whole...
Great.
We just had our first podcast ever.
Right.
You're our second.
That's huge.
Do you feel the pressure?
No.
Yeah.
Your first one was like Blockbuster. The second one's like Netflix.
Let's go. I like it.
Were you here for that part of the last podcast? Did you hear that?
Nope.
I don't know.
We were talking about Blockbuster and Netflix the whole time.
Pretty solid. Pretty relevant. Yep.
Netflix is better than Blockbuster, obviously.
That was the point. That was the
point of that.
I agree.
He agrees.
Yeah.
Blockbuster agrees too at this point.
Right.
I would hope so.
They could have bought Netflix though.
For how much? We were trying to think about that.
I think it was low.
It was very low.
You said $9 million.
I think it was like
low. Yeah,
$9 million.
Yeah, it was
I think
really
Netflix
low.
went after it too.
Yeah,
and
yeah, they
shot
did.
down. Blockbuster was like, we're
they did.
Blockbuster.
I thought it was 50 million. I thought it was 50 million. But
Can we look that up? Do
There's
we have a looker
multiple
upper?
examples of that, though.
Yeah.
They're
there
like
is.
a company that is the major incumbent that
Right.
could have bought the like emerging one for a
Right.
super low
Yeah.
price. And that, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about eBay. No. Something like that. I don't know.
Was it
Maybe
Apple,
Google and
IBM, one of those early in the day, Windows?
Google and Yahoo.
Was it? Yeah, it was Google. Yeah, they could have bought Google for
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not that $1 billion's a little amount,
Right.
but like, yeah.
It is now.
Right.
Dude, I read this stat that when Google bought YouTube, they were doing like $9 million a year in revenue. And now they're doing like $9 million an hour
Yeah.
in revenue.
It's like the Facebook, Instagram thing.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
Dude, so you're a singer.
A little bit.
What do you sing?
Like pop, R&B, but been doing a little bit more country recently.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went to 12 schools in 18 years, so a lot of moving, but most recently from Dallas. So that's
12 schools in 18 years?
Yeah.
That sounds like
How's
a country
that?
song itself.
Yeah, how's that?
I've been to 12 schools.
Why can't
How's that
I stay?
possible?
My dad just did a bunch of different jobs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like not even Army?
No, like State Department.
State Department?
Things like that.
In politics?
Things I can't say.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like you're in the witness protection program.
Sounds like it. That's why I only have one name.
But you're, one
Do you
name-
know what my last name is?
No.
Exactly.
What's your last name?
Guess you'll never know.
Can't
Yeah.
tell them.
But you know what?
What?
One name people
Yeah.
are the best type. It's like, I'm Teague.
Right.
Chelly, you're kind of
When-
like
when-
you're the mix of two one name people. You're Cher and Nelly. It's like those are two like
Cher and
Cher,
Nelly.
Nelly. Let's go.
That's good.
Two one names is another one name.
That's crazy. I'm going to steal that.
I don't know a single other person named Chelly.
Yeah.
So in a random situation, if somebody was like, yo, my buddy Chelly, I'd be like, oh,
You know that guy.
I know Chelly.
Yeah.
It's like Kobe or LeBron.
Right. Oof. Big shoes.
That's true. That's like my buddy Elmo.
You got
There's
a lot
only
of potential, I think,
Lot.
dude.
Yeah.
How old are you?
29.
Yeah, you got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spence. It's
That's
a
it.
one name.
Yeah.
I know
Actually, my
Spence.
name is Steven Spence.
Right.
So so it's kind of one name though.
But
you know.
on Instagram, you're just at Spence.
Yeah, I got
Right.
lucky. Got lucky
You're
with the handle.
at
Chelly.
At Chelly.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Dude, I
Yeah.
got to get the one. What the
You
fuck?
have to. Who has yours?
It was available for a little while, and then some guy got it who I think has like 20,000 followers,
Okay.
but his profile is kind of cool, so I don't know if he's trying to give it up.
Yeah, that's a bummer
I
when you
know.
check out the
So
profile.
I'm
like,
at
okay,
Teague Egan. I need to drop that last name.
it's your family name.
Yeah, so
Could be worse.
yeah, I'll roll with it, I guess.
It's a good family name.
Yeah.
We have
At least it's not at I am the Teague Egan official.
yeah.
Rough.
That would be rough. dude.
Underscore
That would
for
be
real.
rough. That would be rough.
Yeah.
I think there's one other guy in the U.S. named Teague Egan. He was like a college football player from Montana or something.
Right.
And for a time, he was like ranking above me in Google search.
Right.
that.
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
I had to fix that shit.
Had to start a massive company.
So, country music now, did it like Beyonce just came out with her first?
Right.
Did that help you?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It's a good
helps.
song.
It is a good song.
Do you have any animosity towards Beyonce for just jumping on the country train now? No. Okay, that's fair. That was a trick question. You've passed.
In my eyes, and this is just like my personal opinion, I think Avicii was the first to get there.
Yeah. With Wake Me Up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you remember, they kind of booed him when he first.
I know.
I was in the crowd booing
know.
him.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yes, man. I'm here to hear some dance."
You want it?
That's because Zed's your boy. You're on the Zed train.
Zed? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Zed's great.
Yeah, Zed's legit. So you are making a bunch of songs? Are you like working on an album or like?
Yeah, well, so came to LA originally to do music. That's what happened. Cool. So I went to USC.
From where? You went to USC?
Yeah, I went to USC.
I went to USC, baby.
Did you really?
Fight on.
Fight on. Let's go.
Let's go.
Wait, what school?
Marshall School of Business.
Marshall, same.
Yeah, nice. Where are you from?
Well, before that, I came from Dallas.
Okay.
But there was a bunch of other.
Texas,
Got it.
USC. Did you guys just become best friends?
Yeah, that you felt that.
Yeah,
USC.
I was like, wait a minute.
You felt
Well, we went to college. Wait, what year did you graduate?
16.
Okay, I was 11.
Okay.
So we missed each other. But you might not know this. We went to high school together.
Let's go together. Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's right.
St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders.
Wait, where?
In Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, wow, Florida.
Yeah.
All Raiders.
Yeah.
And then you guys stayed friends out there when you came out here?
We were connected
Yeah.
for a long time, actually. He actually, back in the day when you had your record label, brought me out to LA for this massive trip. It was like, I'm going to sign you, Spence.
That's huge.
Yep.
And then we had like a great moment. It didn't end up working out.
Dude, I saw superstar potential written on this guy from an early day.
Yeah, before I had biceps.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
He had this bit where he was like drumming on drums with water with like neon paint all over. I was like, this is a sick ass show.
Yeah, people think it's new when they see me do that. They're like, "Oh, this
You
is
did
cool."
the drumming thing at Lucy's. Thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've seen it. I've
water with
experienced
neon?
it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I've experienced it. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy.
It's more legit in a club when it's not like at Lucy's party.
Sure.
It's like when there's lights,
Sure,
and craziness.
Yeah.
That's what Teague knows.
So my first successful business was a record label.
Yeah.
And I was at USC, and I was summer up in Nantucket. You know where Nantucket is?
Yeah.
And this one summer, I went out there with a bunch of friends from SC, brought like 8 people out, and one of my boys was like our group's like best freestyle rapper. And like, there's always kind of one guy in the group that like starts spitting freestyles.
Yeah.
And so we're in Nantucket, and we're on the beach on 4th of July. And there's this beach where everybody drives their cars on. You take air out of your tire, drive the car on the beach. And this one beach on 4th of July is right by the airport. So all these planes are coming in, and it's just a ripper, dude. Like 1,000 people on this beach, just like getting shit-faced. And my boy gets into a freestyle battle with this random kid. And there's people on top of cars watching, probably like 200 people around this circle, and they're going back and forth. And I'm just like, if all these people are watching like this freestyle battle go down, like there's a business here. I'm going to sign my boy and like this other random guy and start a record label.
Wow.
And I ended up signing the other kid. My boy who was at USC was like, nah, like I'm not really trying to like be a rapper or whatever. But the other kid was.
Yeah.
So signed him and started flying him out to LA, and we made a little album together. And this is 2010. Signed him in 29, made an album over like the course of, 8 months.
Yeah.
And dropped it on iTunes. This is back when you would buy songs
Sure.
on iTunes.
Yeah.
And it went number 1.
Crazy.
Above DJ Khaled, Lil Wayne.
Uh-oh.
And that's what like, so then I'm like, I need to start signing like more artists. And I was like, who else do I know? And Spence is drumming, dude, on the water drums.
Yeah.
So we flew Spence out.
That's right. Good times.
That was what?
2012, I think at that point.
Yeah.
11, 12.
12 years ago.
Wow. A picture popped up from my memories from that trip recently. It's like, damn, it's time. It's flying.
Yeah.
But that's
At
great.
Bagatelle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now, like, boom, second podcast episode.
Yep.
Just fast forward.
Yep. So the whole point of the podcast is to interview extraordinary people.
Wow.
Do you call it extraordinary or extraordinary?
The first one.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. The
For
first
sure.
one. Why do you call it the second one?
You know, maybe the name of the word is extraordinary, but this podcast is extraordinary because we dropped the E.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Okay. I just don't like my internal definition of extraordinary.
Right.
You know, I like extraordinary.
Yeah.
Extraordinary to me is still just like extra medium. It's
Yeah,
like, you know, ordinary,
You're ordinary.
but more ordinary.
Yeah, you're just more ordinary.
More of that, you know.
So you're working on an album or what? Like,
Yeah, well, so
Probably going to be extraordinary.
you're probably gonna be, of course. Yeah, so came out here originally to do music, and then the acting thing kind of just randomly happened because I was doing a bunch of internships.
you're multi-talented.
You have to be when you come out here. You
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
know that. You got to do
Gotta do it all.
everything, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just a lot of it is like timing. You know, a lot of it is like. I mean, we were talking about this with companies, but it's like who sees the opportunity coming, and you kind of have to jump on it a little bit before it happens.
True.
So anyway, so the acting thing was presented because I was going to do a music internship at CBS to kind of learn how the sync licensing thing worked. Because at that time, the music business was always a little bit more tricky than TV and film. Because TV and film was like, okay, you audition, you get smaller roles, you get bigger roles, they give you residuals. Commercials pay well, boom, done. With music, it's like, okay, well, there's publishing, there's this. It depends if you sign the deal, and that's good for exposure, but you might not own as much. But in the long term, it might be good because of appearance fees. And, and then 360 deals. I learned about that at Warner
360
when I was
deals,
like interning there.
Those are important.
So anyway, so the one part in music I was like works is with the TV and film because you can do the sync licensing, and you know there were a lot of artists that wouldn't necessarily have like the most streams or iTunes downloads, but would make so much on sync licensing that you would just never know, especially like syncing with
Just for the audience, explain what sync licensing is.
Yeah, so syncing is basically when you have a song and you know you either use just the instrumental or you use just the vocal or a combination of both in like a part of a TV show or like in a commercial.
And then they pay royalties.
And then they pay royalties. Or sometimes they pay you like a flat fee, but they might use 20 seconds and pay you like $25K for just that.
There's a lot of opportunities in music behind the scenes, where it's acting. It's like if they see your face, you're in there, you're doing something. But there's a lot of people making money that they've never heard of.
Right.
Publishers, writers,
And syncing.
So I was like, okay, let me play songs and then make money off of that, and then figure out how the artist thing works because that's a little bit more timing. And then
for sure,
at the beginning it was like, oh well, you just got to open for someone. Then it's like, oh well, that's very political, and usually the people opening are getting paid to put. We know some of those people, so you know what I mean. So anyway, so that's what brought me to CBS originally, but they kind of cut that music part done. So, but my parents were like, if you're gonna stay there, you gotta do something. You can't just like
go out to Hollywood clubs every night.
Right. Well, I was living in one of of the frat houses at USC, and they were
Which one?
yeah, that's
Which
not
one?
at Teague.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
This is such a USC.
Frat row, dude.
So then it turned into there was an opportunity in casting. So someone there said, why don't you just go there, understand how TV shows are casted, and maybe that'll give you some ideas of how to do music for them, and maybe you'll meet music supervisors through that. And I was like, okay. And then while I was there, someone was like, hey, you look like you should be an actor. Which, is a thing that you sometimes hear of, but you don't think it's going to happen.
I think, dude.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
See, now he's
or maybe the hairline. Maybe the hairline with the jawline. The combination.
So then I started doing the casting thing, and someone said, why don't you audition for this agent that I know? And I was like, okay. Walk in there, I'm performing this monologue, and a monologue is like a thing that they give you like, it's like a speech, but not really.
Yeah.
Right.
You're theoretically supposed to do it like you don't know anyone's watching, like there's people watching here, but it's supposed to be just this intimate conversation that you have, and I'm making eye contact with every agent, making sure I'm doing it like it's a business presentation.
Are you supposed to?
No, definitely not supposed to do that. It's like this story about like how I left this girl, and I'm like, And then I was like, I had to leave her, you know, and I'm like doing this like most like soap opera thing, but I think they just liked my energy, just the fact that I didn't seem nervous or anxious or please sign me. And so from there started auditioning, didn't prep for the auditions that would come up, ended up being on the Fox lot, which is, you know, have you guys been to the Fox lot before?
No.
Oh, okay. So
I don't think so.
It's like a bunch of TV shows are filmed there. So I'm like walking around, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Walk into this little casting office, start reading with the casting director, and I cut myself off halfway through the take. I'm like, I'm not feeling that one. Let's run it back. And these guys are just like, and this is old school Hollywood. These aren't like,
we'll run it back.
You know what I mean? They're like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? It's the kind of thing where
I'm the boss
I
now.
went to go shake the guy's hand and he's like, like, you know, we don't do that. Like he's behind a thing. And so anyway, so we do that a couple more times. And I'm like, so what'd you think? And they were like, no, it was good. Okay, so when's the callback? And the guy's like, well, we'll let you know. I'm like, great. Well, I'd love to get your number and, you know, we can stay in touch. And that's not how entertainment works. So they're like, we'll be in touch. I'm like, okay, well, what do you think I should wear to the callback? And the guy's like,
nice.
Okay, we'll just lose the jacket for the callback, but everything else is good.
So you got the fucking callback.
So then I got the callback, and that started the first of 15 callbacks, which then led to...
Wait, it took you 15 times on this one thing?
Well, not on that one role, but they kept calling me back. And
for other things.
And the show ended up being Modern Family.
Yeah, so bang, on Modern Family.
Right, so that was the first
Which is like one of the biggest shows.
Right, and then from there, I was like...
So what year was that?
2018. This was like
so you
after I
graduate from SC in 2016, and like there's so many people that their dream is to come out and like be, you know, in the big spotlight.
Right.
And 2 years out, you're on Modern Family.
Right. Well, so right after SC, you know, there's that like 4 or 5 month period where everyone's like, I'm just going to travel the world before I have to get to the real world. And I was like,
you mean like what rich white privileged people do?
No, but people do that. But my whole thing was like, you hear this quote in college where it's like, this is going to be the best 4 years of your life. And I was like, I don't think you're doing it right if that was the best 4 years. I was like, I feel like I haven't even started.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, instead of taking the 5 months and doing the Europe thing, I was like, let me dive into this acting thing, because it happened a little bit after that. Did a Funny or Die episode with Marilyn Manson, which at the time was interesting, and now it's interesting for other reasons.
What's Marilyn Manson like?
He was super nice to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Nice guy, great guy.
That's all I can say. I can only say my experience.
Yeah.
But you know, did that, and then did like a Lifetime movie. And then did like a Walmart Christmas commercial. Yeah. And then started seeing the residual checks.
And then you've been on like...
That's pretty quick.
That's
pretty quick. Yeah, it's really quick. A lot of people come out to Los Angeles like with the dream of getting there. And then, you know, they're resilient, but they keep being told no. And no for years or decades maybe.
Right.
What kind of advice would you send to those people to maybe improve their... what would you say that's because of?
I think part of it is, and you'll probably resonate with this too, like when your boy called you to come out to LA to just, you know, hop in the studio and let's see what happens. You just do it.
Yeah. True.
Because you can't even contemplate what the audition could be or what it could end up, because there's so many moments that I've had that I was like, if I sat down and I used my analytical brain, I for sure
wouldn't do it.
Yeah, wouldn't do it because it doesn't make sense. And whatever success ended up happening, I wouldn't have been able to even calculate that. Yeah. You know? So a lot of it is just volume. You know, there's that quote. It's either
throwing shit up on the wall and seeing what sticks.
It's either Kobe or MJ that says it. It's like, I've made more game-winning shots than anyone, but I've missed more game-winning shots than anyone. So for me, I was
Kobe
like,
or MJ?
It was one of those two.
Yeah,
it was one of those two. But so for me, it was just like volume. So, you know, there'd be an audition for some like small non-union commercial that someone was like, oh, we're filming this. And I was like, oh, it's 5 minutes away from me. They're like, we'll just give you footage. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. But I would meet actors who had maybe even gotten one commercial that's like, yeah, I don't do unpaid work. And I was like, well, I'll just act, whatever. Just do everything in the summer. Like, who cares? So
then you like spun Modern Family. Yeah. You said you've been in some sweet commercials, dude. Like, McDonald's. Yeah. Walmart. Yeah. Like Apple.
Yeah.
Those are three of like the biggest companies.
They are. Yeah.
What was that?
The
like?
Apple one is very interesting. You'll really
I need to watch this.
I want to watch them.
The Apple one you'll find really interesting. So I it was for one of their new MacBooks, and it was like the WWD, the Worldwide Development big video that they push out where they're launching all the new products. But in the scene, I'm basically on this computer, and there was this older gentleman who was just next to me, and he was in the spot, but I didn't think anything of him. I just thought he was another actor, and he would ask me all these questions, and he was like, "Oh, what do you think?" He was like, "What do you think about the MacBook Pro?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I have the one from mid 2015, and I'll never get the new ones because they purposely slowed them down, and I never update the iOS."
Right.
And he's like, "Why don't you update the iOS?" I was like, "Because it'll purposely slow it down, so I'm just going to keep it." And so I start telling him my true thoughts on all of it, but I'm like, the mid 2015 one's the best. Like, everyone knows that. Like, and so I find it. He goes, "Oh yeah, like we should be in touch." And I'm thinking like on some acting thing. So he gives me his card. I don't really like. I was like, "Oh, actor giving me his card." I'm like, okay, whatever.
Actors
put it in
cards.
you know what I mean? So put it in my pocket, and then I find out this was the guy that created the iOS.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I was straight up just telling him I
know your tricks.
He's like a top executive at Apple.
No, yeah, he was one of the first 20 employees or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I've gotten a new MacBook Pro since.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah. They've changed some of the ports on the side.
They have changed the ports.
Yeah.
I mean, it's smart.
That's their big tactic. Like, let's keep changing the ports so people have to keep getting that adapter.
Dude, how do you feel about the new iPhones now having the USB-C port as opposed to the Lightning port?
I think it's about time. It's like, finally, it's a rough one because you're going to have to adapt. You're going to get everything new. But it's like, I think it's a step in the right direction because now you can charge your phone with anything.
For me,
it's annoying, but
I went to it. I got the 15, and then I went back to the 14 Lightning because it's like there's so many charger or plugs out there.
There's a lot of plugs.
And then now my iPods still have the Lightning, and it's like, I even bought some adapters for my car, so I didn't have to buy. I don't know.
Right.
So the reason I started following you is because you do the best Vivek Ramaswamy impersonation that I've seen.
This is true.
How, like, obviously you're going to do it, but like, before we get there, has that transformed your career at all? I mean, like
100%.
Yeah.
Really?
100%. Yeah.
In a huge way.
Yeah, in a huge way. It started out last year around August is when I had seen him do the first debate.
Okay.
And
you're like, I look like that guy.
Well, to
and
be fair,
sound like it.
Part of it was I was watching it and also getting incoming texts like, "Bro, you're killing it at this debate." I was like, okay.
And you're going to be president.
You know, and it was also the writer's strike.
Yeah.
You know, and truth be told, I can't say if I would have done it if there was no writer's strike because I probably would have been too busy doing auditions or you know, whatever it may have been. So I see this and, you know, I have this idea of why not do like the SNL thing where it's like, you know, you have the backdrop and then do the SNL thing. And so I kind of filmed a video like that. And I was like, I was thinking about it. And I remember it was like the debate was on either a Wednesday or Thursday, had this video done on a Friday. And so I was like, okay, this is interesting. So my friend that, you know, shout out to my boy Atif, he does a lot of like street interviews. And so he was doing this one with a Trump mugshot at the Santa Monica Pier. And he was like, why don't you just come? And then after I ask people what they think of this mugshot, I'll say something like, what do you think of Vivek Ramaswamy? He's running for president. And I was like, okay, let's do it and let's see what happens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Take the opportunity.
So we just start doing it. And I start to realize very quickly that, okay, people kind of know what he looks like. They kind of know the name, but they haven't really seen him enough to know that it's not me.
They actually think it's you.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
you guys look like.
So then I was
they
like,
don't look that much alike.
Yeah, they do.
To you, but
so well, that's all that matters.
That's true.
So it was like, okay, well, instead of doing an impression, now it's like a straight up impersonation. You know what I mean? And that's like a different thing.
It is.
So it's a one thing to do impressions. It's another thing to go full Borat style and basically just, you know, go for it. So we did that on the pier, started putting up those videos, and started going viral immediately. In like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this
So wait, when was the first time you ever learned who Vivek Ramaswamy was?
You know, I got to give credit to my mom. because she had told me about this guy, and she was like, you should watch a podcast of this guy. Like,
when was that?
Very different. Probably a couple months before that.
Okay.
But I wasn't the best son, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, mom. I'll take it.
You know what I mean?
Another
Mom.
Indian guy.
Mom was right.
Yeah,
Mom
shout
was
out to
right.
all our moms.
You know what I mean? Yeah, shout out to the moms. So I had heard the name before, but hadn't really like watched it until that first debate.
Yeah.
And so after that, we started just basically making content around the idea that I'm basically going to say I'm him.
Yeah.
Like everywhere we go.
Right.
And so he had rapped Lose Yourself and had gotten
What do you mean rapped Lose Yourself?
He
You
had
mean
done
the
this at
Eminem
like
song?
a campaign rally.
There's a cover of him doing it?
Yes, there's a cover of him doing it.
Wow, okay.
That had
Gotta
gone
watch it.
viral, and Eminem basically sent him a cease and desist.
No.
So when this happened, I remember it was like around the same time that we had done like the peer thing. I told my friend, I said, why don't I come out of like a hotel and then you'll say, hey, Vivek, what are your thoughts on this? And I'll just look at you and just rap the song. That's my thoughts on it, because if people think that I'm actually him doing that, it's gonna,
Right.
That's the moment.
But then there was also because of the impersonation, could someone from their team reach out and sue for defamation or whatever?
Yeah, which was possible.
So, which is possible. But then, I had this whole plan, like me being in Hollywood. I was like, okay, but I've already talked to a few news people, and if he says something to me, then I'll go on there and talk about how he's going after, someone after in Hollywood instead of worried about the election, whatever. Luckily, none of that ended up happening. But so we plan on going to this hotel, and then I realized, right down the street on Sunset is the CNN building. And I said, why don't I just come out of CNN?
Wow.
So then we do that, have that video, and then we're right there in CNN. And why not just sneak into CNN and say I'm him? And say I have like an appointment with Dana Bash or whatever for my 6 p.m. interview and just see what happens.
So you did it?
So we go to the front desk, just do that. And the guy's like, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It's like right over there.
You look exactly like him, dude.
Check in with a security guy. And then the security guy, he looks at me and he goes, you're Vivek? He goes, can I get a picture? And I was like, oh, this is crazy.
I've seen that
and
one.
so that video goes super
So at that point,
viral.
you're now thinking like,
I'm like,
I am Vivek.
Yeah.
I can get in anywhere.
And to this day,
you start believing
what I mean?
yeah. Still a bunch of
Your
people.
face is your backstage pass.
So yeah,
Seriously.
exactly. So anyway, so that's
And you've used that a lot. It's gotten you back. Yeah.
Well, okay, so
You know
then
the Oscars coming up?
no, it won't work for that.
Let's go.
They don't like him in Hollywood. They don't like him in Hollywood.
That's fair.
So there's that.
Yeah, I guess.
But so what ends up happening a couple weeks later is the Simi Valley debate. So there was a debate there. And I'm like,
This is the second presidential
It's the
debate.
second. Yeah.
You got
Republican
backstage
one.
for that one. I
No,
think.
did not. Was thinking about it, but the security there was like too tight.
Right.
But then I was like, wait, they're doing a convention in where was it? At the Anaheim Convention Center. And he was going to go speak there. And I was like, oh, I got to get one of those videos where, because honestly, what I thought is I could get a video where I'm just standing there and he walks by and I'm like, you're an imposter or something like that.
Yeah.
That's all I thought I was going to get,
Right.
honestly. And so the night before that, I didn't sleep at all. Because
Just
I was like, do I go? Do I
butterflies
not
and-
go? Yeah, because there's Secret Service there.
Yeah.
Trump was just there.
Yeah.
This isn't just like, oh, sneak into a Hollywood party. This is like
Yeah.
No,
United States government.
Yeah.
State
Mess up,
Secret
you're gonna get
Service.
shot, too.
No,
Yeah.
100%. You
Am I
know,
gonna
I'm
die? Like, should I do this?
but then at the same time, it's like, well, if I just don't think about it, it should probably be fine.
True.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I do, yeah.
Which a lot of the best
Just go
ideas
for
come
it,
from
dude.
that.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, would I want to go through that again? Maybe not. But I did it.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
happy I
dude.
did
No
it.
regrets.
So, you just go, see what happens, canvas the whole thing, start seeing that, these guys are kind of rotating in groups. So I'm like, at a certain point, we'll just walk in.
Right.
And I'm also wearing the suit. I got
Right.
the American flag thing
Yeah.
on. So maybe I work with the guy or whatever.
Right.
Walk in, immediately people start taking pictures of me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's just keep going with that. Find out where he's speaking in the ballroom. And they're like, well, you need to have tickets and all this. And I'm like, well, let's just kind of like walk our way to there and let's just see what happens. They don't end up saying anything. So because people are just looking at us,
Yeah.
So then
especially if you start walking around with like a security guard.
Right.
Have you thought about that?
No.
Okay.
Because I was like, I kind of wanted to play stupid to where if we got caught, it wasn't
like, what do you mean?
officially.
I'm not saying
I was like, I'm just walking around here. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You're an asshole. I'm just a brown dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah, stop being
How
racist.
dare you assume that?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you think I'm Vivek?
It's because you start running all these scenarios in your head. Because every time I looked at someone, it's like, I see them just looking at me, but in the back of my head, especially my creative brain, I'm like, they're like, yeah, just take 2 steps forward, just walk in that room. We're going to tackle you. You know what I mean? I'm hearing that stuff, but I'm like, whatever. Get inside, wait for him to finish speaking, hear one of his security guys be like, okay, he's going to loop around and then go to the media. So then we just walk straight in with a group of people.
Yeah.
And then you'll see kind of that now, famous viral video.
Hold up right there.
Yeah.
Rewind a little bit. How did you get so good at the impersonation? You sound exactly like.
I think at a certain point.
You just do it for, I don't know.
No, of course.
Yeah.
You want me to just interview me like I'm him?
Yeah. So Vivek, I've known you actually before you started running for president. You went to Harvard. You went to Yale.
Yeah, absolutely.
You started billion-dollar companies, and you were on the cover of Forbes.
Yeah. Well, listen. When I was young, I wanted to build something that I could look back on for my children, that they would be proud to be in this country. You see, we're living in a 1776 time in this country, and something needs to be done. So I made many multi-billion-dollar companies. I went to Harvard and Yale and knew that I had to run for president.
Did you think you were going to beat Trump?
I'm not really a plan B kind of guy. And so we ran with the true intention of beating President Trump.
And so obviously you're not leaving politics. What are your plans for the future?
I think that's a great question. I think I'm really taking it day by day. And what I'm doing now is helping President Trump become the next president, whether that's in whatever capacity. There's a lot of rumors about what people think I'm going to do.
Would you accept the vice presidential nomination, or?
I think that's a great question. And I speak to young people everywhere, and they really resonate with our message because it's really going to take a leader of a different generation, someone with a different mindset. Thomas Jefferson, when he was 33, invented the swivel chair.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Like a chair that swivels around?
A chair that swivels around.
Interesting.
Good invention.
Pretty important.
I mean, you're a big advocate for a meritocracy.
Of course.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I just think, you have all these 3-letter things you start hearing, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And I think the most important thing about that is we need to have the best and the brightest running our country. And right now we have alphabet soup.
Yeah.
This is extraordinary.
There's a little bit for you.
I fell into it. You're a method actor. I felt like we were sitting with Vivek for a little bit. I was like, wait, let me ask Vivek some questions. let me, I got to know some answers.
Dude, that's really impressive, man. That's really, really impressive. So I'm thinking about, this could completely change the course of your career, right?
Sure.
SNL needs a Vivek Ramaswamy impersonator. Have you thought about that?
No, definitely. I mean, it's definitely something I would do. And, funny enough, on the Graham Stephan podcast, he had gone on there and reacted to me doing the impression.
Oh, nice.
And had basically said that this guy should play me on SNL.
He said that?
He says that.
There you go.
Wow.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah. So we, I'm ready to do.
So I mean, this is we on this podcast, this being the second episode.
Yep.
We talk a lot about how in order to be extraordinary, you really have to dedicate yourself.
Yeah.
And it takes an immense amount of work ethic and dedication in order to perfect your craft, right? Do you see this as like an opportunity where you would go all in on comedy and maybe put the music to the side a little bit, or the acting, and think like, maybe my destiny is to be a comedian and, do that? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think there's so many changes in our business, obviously with AI, the strike stuff that's been happening. Mm-hmm. Just the conversation around streaming, where the income is in music. I actually don't make any long-term plans. I've learned now, just kind of watching the cycle of our business, that it's really just a day-to-day thing. So it's whatever I think I can do in that day. I have some ideas of where things are going, but that's kind of how I look at things. So obviously, when the impressions started to work, I wasn't like, oh, I'll do one video every week or something. I was like, we're doing this every day, to the point where, this past January, we went to the Iowa caucus, and I had never really been to the Midwest prior to this, and drove on, blizzard terrains. Had never driven on snow, mind you, that kind of snow. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's not going to be that hard.
Hit the brake. Was crazy.
Yeah. Hit the brake one time and felt the car slide, and I was like, oh, this is...
There were blizzard snowstorms, like minus below zero. Yeah.
Below zero. Yeah. So anyway, crashed one of his events there.
Yeah. Let's go.
Pulled up and basically did the impersonation for him.
Yeah.
Made him laugh. Called him the impersonator.
Yeah, I saw that one.
What you don't know is there's like 15 cameras around. There's like 50, all the news outlets are there. So it's not like one of those things where
it's just a one.
It's like a prepared thing. It's almost like great preparation for SNL, because with SNL you have the words.
Right.
They give you all the scripts are all on the wall.
Yeah.
This is, I kind of have to go off of what he does. There's a certain level of
improv.
Yeah, improv, but there's a certain level of like, he's got to like it a little bit. It can't just be straight hater.
True, yeah.
Because like, it's not going to go well. But then it's also got to be funny at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, but to your point about just working hard and just kind of getting after it, part of it was like, yeah, is it convenient in the middle of the week to decide you're going to go to the Iowa caucus in between Golden Globe season and like Emmy season? Like, no, but it's like, well, what other choice do you have?
That's probably your biggest, like, I don't know, like maybe you have other videos, but that got a lot of views.
Yeah, yeah. That one.
Go out and do it. What are you most passionate about?
I think for me, so going to a bunch of different schools, you're either going to end up one of two ways. You're either going to make a lot of friends or you're going to have no friends. That's just how that works. Because you have to learn to make 2 high schools and 3 middle schools. Like you're going to...
That's a lot.
You're going to be the new kid. You're going to have to... Yeah. So for me, the biggest thing was, okay, every time I went to a new school, it was do the talent show.
Okay.
Because I was like, whether people liked or didn't like me, they would be like, well, that kid went up there and did that.
Yeah.
You know?
What was
so
your
like,
talent?
I would just sing, or I would just do the play, or like whatever it was. Or like, for example, the second high school I went into, I would randomly go into classrooms and like sing to random girls, like just interrupt the class, be like, sorry, I have to sing you this song real quick. Yeah, 100%, because it's like,
that's a tactic.
Whether you like me or don't like me, you're gonna be like, this kid.
You got to respect me.
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing. And I was like, okay,
memorable.
That's what I got to keep. Yeah, so I think that my passion for just connecting with people, and it's just you realize that, and I'm sure you guys know this too. You inspire people all the time. That most of the time they won't even tell you, but every now and then you'll have a conversation with someone where they're like, hey, I saw you do this, and by the way, that made me kind of think I could do this. And it's like, that's why.
Dude, that's the best feeling.
And it's that one conversation. I had this one person reach out to me that was like, I've been going through chemo and your videos make me smile. And it was like, when you have that in the back of your head, anytime I'm going to hesitate about, sneaking into the GOP convention or like whatever other shenanigans I have planned for the future, it makes it. Yeah, stay tuned.
Are we getting some top secret?
No, just a little bit.
Okay. When's the GOP convention?
No, that already happened, but there will be the national convention.
Yeah, the national
later on.
A lot of things are coming up. It's your season coming up.
Dude,
it's our season.
Wait, okay, so are you and Vivek boys now?
I'll let the people decide.
But like, you guys got each other's numbers and stuff, like your friend, like homies, or no, not quite getting there.
Let me answer this how a politician would answer this. We can communicate if we need to.
That's fair.
Yep. And I just saw you hanging out with Bradley Cooper.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's a pivot.
Well, I feel like what I'm trying to say is that this new like impersonation, You Chelly opportunity has
opened up doors.
Up doors.
No, for sure. I mean, I think it's some of the events I'm going to now. I mean, it's just fascinating because, like you said, I've done commercials, I've done shows, even like doing Super Bowl commercial with Kanye, Super Bowl commercial with Lil Dicky,
Super Bowl commercial with Kanye.
Yeah, the McDonald's one.
Oh, the McDonald's one.
The Can I Get that one?
Okay.
But yeah, I would have thought that it would have been one of those things to really launch, but it's almost like I've been on this show called The Vivek Show. And like and I'm like the lead in it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people just come up to me at parties now and they're like, I've seen your stuff. You know? David Foster came up to me and was like, yo, your videos are funny. And
Who's David Foster?
Absolute legend that has like produced probably every Celine Dion song.
Okay,
Michael Bolton, all the oldies is him.
Legend.
Nice.
Yeah, it's also nice to just take initiative and do your own thing. You know, so you know, like a lot of other sides of acting is sitting around and waiting or taking initiative, but then it's someone else's subjective, it's their opinion to say, no, this guy can't do that. Go out and do it yourself. You know, that's
I got to give you some credit too, because you don't know this, but so I did videos with one of your friends, Rosette.
Okay, yeah.
And so we were just talking about social media and social media content, because I was always, more from the traditional acting.
Right.
But I wasn't one of those actors. A lot of actors around my age are like, we don't even do social. Like which I don't think makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, do all of it.
It's changing, but there's still people like that.
Right. But she was basically like, okay, we got to figure out stuff. She's like, oh, I'm going to talk to my boy Spence. And so I don't know if you know this, but she was like, yeah, Spence basically gave me this advice about niching down your content, like especially for your own community, like South Asian community. Mm-hmm. And so part of that conversation, I think, was probably in my head when I started doing the Vivek stuff, because there isn't a single Indian person I run into in LA that doesn't know who I am now.
You're always the only you. So if you lean into that, it's like no one can really replace you too. Yeah. And there's always a community of people out there that can resonate with you no matter how unique you think you are. It's like there are people that are dealing with similar things that you are or you've gone through. So it's like if you can speak to that audience, they're going to, really, really love you. And instead of having, millions of people that know you, you're going to have less amount of people but they really respect you, love you, and kind of like, appreciate you too. So,
so thank you.
100%. Yeah. Anytime. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
That's
I remember telling
and then we meet after.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's pretty sweet.
On a podcast.
Episode 2.
So you have some accents though too, right? Like can you do
I can.
What accents can you do?
I mean, I could do the Indian accent. You want it?
You can do an Indian accent.
I love a good Indian accent, but it depends what part of India you're from, yes? It's beautiful. People tell me I sound a little more like King Julian.
You got
it's a beautiful thing here, yes. That's all I got.
Well, so the big concept that we basically started doing that I think really blew everything up was me kind of doing the Indian accent and then getting interrupted by a person on the street. So I can do that.
Favorite.
Is that what you want to see?
That's my favorite.
Should we do it for episode 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just basically going to have to say, hey, Vivek, at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to pretend like I'm talking on my phone. So I put my phone.
Get your phone. Oh.
I'll use your phone. There we go.
Yeah,
see that?
There you go. They're beautiful.
All right. Boom. Okay, here we go. Yes, ma. I know I lost the election, ma. Ayo,
hey, Vivek.
Oh, hey, man. How are you? Vivek Ramaswamy. Good to meet you.
Oh, it's good to see you.
So what brings you to this part of town? So that was like the whole.
Great.
That was like the whole.
That's so accurate for Vivek.
And they say that the first few seconds of socials got to like grab people.
Oh yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
And so
that's great. I loved it.
So
yeah, dude. I like because that's exactly how Vivek does it. He's always like, "So what brings you here? Tell me about
It's hilarious. It's great.
That's really good.
Yeah, I definitely see you playing Vivek on SNL. So let's go.
Yeah, me too.
Lauren
Michaels.
We're gonna manifest for sure. Yeah.
Episode 2. We're calling it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
But you know what's funny about that though? So obviously, SNL. Next level. We all know about SNL. But the whole point of being on there is it gives you exposure and it introduces you to so many, different avenues.
Right.
But what's so crazy is all like the fans and the people that love the videos have just tagged SNL so much, but have helped just increase my overall exposure in general that in a way, it's not obviously like being on SNL quite yet.
Right.
But it's pushed so much, and I think without social like that, I would have just been a sitting duck, just waiting.
Yeah,
of course.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That's the beautiful thing about social. It's like you're direct to the people. You know,
direct to the people,
and it's so much quicker. You could literally shoot a video in the morning and then upload in the afternoon. You're reaching the world.
Right.
We were talking about this with Matt. How like he's a dancer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like 10 years ago, like you're a backup dancer and the top that you could get to is a backup dancer for J-Lo or something.
Right.
And now this guy has 3+ million followers on Instagram and 30 million followers across his social network. And he's a dancer.
Right.
That's the power of social.
Crazy.
Like, yeah. I mean, you could do an impersonation or you could be like in line for the casting at SNL. but now you have a much better chance because you have an audience and a fan base.
For sure. And it's like one of those things, and you guys know this because you guys do a bunch of different things. You don't know which thing is going to bring you the exposure to just reveal all the other talents that you always had. You just don't know which one.
That's true. And I also think it's just like, as an artist, the real win is just being able to be yourself and put that out to the world. Just create art and release it. Create art and release it. You don't need like other gatekeepers to tell you can do something. It's like, if you're true an artist, you just want to write stuff, whether or improvise, but just like put your creations out to the world. And I think that's a beautiful thing that you have now that you can do.
Thank you, brother.
So what's next, dude? Like, this is obviously still growing. Obviously, Vivek's not in the race right now, but you know he has a bright future.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe.
What's next?
As far as the Vivek stuff, I can't say.
Okay.
It might come after me.
But also that guy too. It's like you could see that whether you like him,
no, he'll be around for a while.
He's going to be around for a while. He's a really
100%.
bright guy, and like, you know, whether this or 4 years or 8 years or 12 years or 20 years, that guy's around.
Yeah.
Unless he just decides not to, which I doubt. It seems like he's pretty passionate
and I think
about
it's also, you know, someone asked me about him, and I think the best thing is he is younger. That
Super
does
young.
make a big difference.
Mid-30s,
just in politics
maybe?
in general. You see kind of a lot of the old school politicians are kind of on their way out.
Yeah, which I think we need. We need younger people.
Man.
I think the problem
That's
is
an understatement.
I think the problem is that people that are young and smart enough to do a great job at being the president of the United States don't want that shitty job.
Yeah.
It's a terrible job. Everyone comes out gray and dying.
Right.
It's like, if you could really excel at that job, you're doing something else and enjoying life. You do not want that.
I kind of want that job.
Well, go for it.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm gonna run for president.
All right, there you go. Maybe Vivek will be your VP.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Going in, I was a huge Vivek fan, actually.
Yeah.
Just because of what he represented.
Yeah.
Super educated person.
Sharp.
Yeah, has started multi-billion-dollar companies. But I think that this is just my personal opinion, right? He tried to go the way that he like kind of talked to some of his opponents.
Right.
Was a little bullying. He tried to go down the Trump bully train.
Yeah.
But the difference is that Trump has been a bully his whole life. So it comes off super natural for Trump. And people are like, oh, they kind of think it's funny, right?
Right.
Like when Trump is calling people names and stuff, like he has his whole followers. I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like Vivek might have been bullied when he was younger, and now he's trying to flip the script. And dude, I had high hopes for him. He made it pretty far, but
no, I mean, look, I think someone that had a similar kind of rise before the actual Iowa caucus was Andrew Yang. Had another
that's right, Andrew Yang.
Very similar, but he did not do as well in Iowa.
Yeah.
I think he had, I want to say maybe got less than 1%, maybe 1%, but Vivek got 8%.
Yeah.
Right.
Which Vivek did great out of nowhere.
For a first timer.
And to be honest, if Vivek and DeSantis don't drop out, Haley might have won some of those last primaries.
True.
We should turn this podcast into a political show.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, hilarious.
Andrew Yang was sweet. He had a different approach. His pin was like math.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Math is cool was his thing.
And Andrew Yang was good.
But that's good because I mean, look, I think people like that are the only reason that younger people are even involved or more so like paying attention because there's so much change happening right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you see that too in the business world, you know, just jumping into the things
I
that
mean,
you've done.
Trump is almost 80, but I think he's
Too old.
77.
They're all too
Biden's
old.
81. Like, dude, if I had to place a bet on if Vivek were going to become president at some point in the future, I would say it's more than 50%.
100%.
Yeah. Like if he continues to want to.
No, 100%.
Right?
No, 100%. I mean, I think he'll definitely be, if Trump ends up winning, he'll be in some form of something.
Yeah. And now his resume is starting to build. And then, I mean, he's going to have a lot of chances moving forward.
Yeah. It's wild times.
Yeah. That's wild.
But yes, Bradley Cooper was cool.
Was it cool?
Yeah.
Was it cool? Did he
go back
yeah.
no, he's great.
Yeah.
Great guy. Yeah.
Where was that? I mean,
So that was the SAG Awards.
SAG Awards.
Yeah.
So you're going to all the award shows?
I tried, to be honest with you, I tried to go to more of the galas and the after parties because I think you can.
My boy likes to party.
I know, right? No, because that's where you schmooze. That's where you know, try to create the next.
How often are you in character at this point?
The Vivek stuff?
Yeah.
I think I've been doing it so long that I can just pop in and pop out. Like I don't think
wearing the suit. Do you wear the suit a lot?
Well, a lot of these award shows you are wearing a suit.
Yeah, you wear a suit anyway.
I think like
so you just wear
everyone's in Vivek.
everyone's in the Vivek outfit.
So you wear the American president like?
No, I don't wear the flag.
You don't wear the flag?
I don't wear the pin.
Okay.
No, I don't wear the pin.
You ran into Nancy Pelosi?
I did.
What was that like?
Wow. Let's just say my stocks went up a lot.
Yeah.
No, I can't say that.
If you want some insider trader info, your boy's got it.
Dude, I think Nancy Pelosi is crushing the S&P 500.
Yeah, she's
legend.
Like, she's up 300% a year.
Yeah.
They forgot about Warren Buffett. You know,
Yeah, she's
the greatest.
It's like Buffett and Pelosi.
And she's just the greatest ever.
Yeah.
She got $300 million from being a politician.
Yeah.
Well,
I wonder
really?
how she did that.
What kind of salary?
She was very nice and cordial. And
That's good.
That's nice.
we met and we did our little video. So
Wait, how about?
I have not released the video yet.
Oh,
We'll see.
let's go.
We'll see if I release it.
Worldwide exclusive on XTRAordinary.
But then if you have a season 2, I might not be able to make it back. You know.
True.
No, we do. Yeah, well.
No, because I won't be around.
He won't be. He'll be cut.
Yeah.
Literally.
Cut. Yeah. Cut from the team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we'll save it for. I don't think Nancy Pelosi has that much longer in her career. In her career.
In her life.
Yeah, in her career.
That's what I thought you were
in her
going.
career.
Nancy Pelosi's
She's
looking
getting up
pretty
there.
dead, guys. She's getting there.
Mitch McConnell just retired, I think, right?
Thank God. If that's the case, for real. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Just staring into nothing.
Face, dude, it's what do we call it? A turkey neck? A turkey neck or a goose neck?
Yeah.
It's like,
No neck.
what are we thinking? These people are just too old.
Definitely doesn't have the Chelly jawline.
Definitely.
Yeah,
not.
no.
Maybe he did back in the day. You know. Probably
never
not.
know.
Yeah, probably not.
You know, met Nancy Pelosi at the Clive Davis thing, which was incredible. Cool. I mean, it was really interesting because you know you have like a wide range of artists because you'd have Clive Davis. He'd be like, you know, coming up next we have, we have Noah Khan, and then it's like. And then right after that, we'll have Ice Spice and then a performance by Stevie Wonder. And I'm like, this is like the most random. And I was sat close next to Stevie's table and I just saw like, you know, Gladys Knight and some of them just, you know, watching the Ice Spice performance. And it's very interesting to watch them watch it.
For sure.
Yeah, Ice Spice. It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, crushed it.
Great.
Episode 2.
You keep saying that, but it sounds like it's like episode 200.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
I think podcast, what's the number? Like, you're in the top 10%.
If you do 20 episodes, then you're in the top 1%.
1%.
Really?
Yeah. But here's the thing. There's a shit ton of podcasts. That's why. And people just give up.
Wait, most people stop before 20?
Yeah, most people stop before 20. That's what it's not just showing that you have a good podcast that's killing it. It's everyone else sucks. That's more so what it is. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. Show.
Well, dude, I look forward to what you have next.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that SNL is definitely in the future.
I'm calling it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Boom.
SNL goes by seasons, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't watch SNL, just to be honest. I don't.
So next season, when does next season start?
They start more so in like the summer months is when they start looking at. Yeah. But there's also
do you have to move to New York if you do it?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You could probably commute back and forth.
I'll make some calls for you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teague Man.
I'm calling that next season.
Okay.
Chelly on SNL as Vivek Ramaswamy.
And then we come back here.
Yeah.
Run it back.
Yeah. You'll be a multiple repeat extraordinary guest, no doubt, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Likewise.